the Templar mystery. Again, solving the Templar mystery using the 71 method to trace missing bullion. Everything we've been told about the deconstruction of the Knights Templar is a distraction. The history books frame 1307 as a religious purge, a hunt for secret rituals and heresy. As an investigator, I am telling you to ignore the narrative and follow the money. Again, I am telling you as an investigator to ignore the narrative and follow the money. See, this wasn't a spiritual cleansing. It was a state-sponsored, high-level financial liquidation. Today, we are applying the 71 method to 1307 seizure records. We're going to map the audit trail and deconstruct the administrative loopholes and prove that the Templar bullion didn't disappear. It was stolen in a calculated hostile takeover of capital that redefined the European economy. Let's process the scene. Section 1, the Administrator Ledger Audit. In any criminal investigation, you start with the chain of custody. Again, in any criminal investigation, we always start with the chain of custody. So when King Philip V moved to seize the Templar assets, he faced a forensic possibility. How do you liquidate a decentralized multinational treasury without triggering a market collapse? You don't. You see, you manufacture a symptomatic panic. I have audited the 1307 settlement records, and what we see isn't the chaotic seizure of a monastery. It's a systematic audit of debt erasure. Royal debts were miraculously erased by moving assets through shell entities that function exactly like our modern offshore clearinghouses. The bullion wasn't lost, it was the capital injection that kept France's monarchy sovereign. When you analyze the weight of the bullion seized versus the debts miraculously forgiven, the math doesn't just add up, it exposes the motive. Section 2, the modern forensic link, the 71 method application. History doesn't repeat. Again, history doesn't repeat. It just rebrands. The offshore structures we use today to hide, protect, or move capital are direct descendants of the mechanisms developed in the aftermath of the Templar liquidation. Historians attribute the sudden surge in capital across the 14th century banking hubs to national economic growth. My investigation shows the opposite. Again, my investigation shows the opposite. You see, this was the first recorded instance of large-scale asset laundering by a sovereign entity. Using the 71 method, we can identify the exact friction points where the Templars' assets were moved from private trusts into state-backed corporate ledgers. This foundation of the modern banking system, didn't just steal the gold, they stole the infrastructure of ownership. Phase Section 3, the verdict and the practical application today. The Knight Templars were not victims of a religious crusade. Again, the Knight Templars were not victims of a religious crusade. They were the victims of a structural systematic freeze. You see, they held the capital, but they lost the control of the ledger. This brings us back to the present day, our day. So if you think the current global financial structure is immune to these same liquidation tactics, you have not been paying attention. The mechanism, shell entities, debt erasure, administrative loopholes remain unchanged. The only difference is the speed of the digital signal. If you want to understand how to preserve your own assets, stop listening to the market sentiment and start reading the structural trail. We are archiving this investigation in the 71 Method Masterclass curriculum. If you're serious about forensic asset preservation, start with the first unit below. Audit the evidence, secure your position, and stop being a line item on someone else's ledger. Audit complete.